Some houses hold stories. Others hide horrors. Located in the hills of Hollywood, surrounded by luxury mansions and dense trees, there is a property with a dark reputation. From a distance, it's just another millionaire residence. But those familiar with the celebrity world know, this was Marilyn Manson's mansion, the godfather of fear. At the peak of his fame in the 2000s, Marilyn Manson was not only known for his controversial music but also for bizarre parties that mixed heavy drugs, fetishism, occultism, and celebrities seeking adrenaline. Former employees who requested anonymity for fear of retaliation revealed what they witnessed inside. One of them, known only as Daniel, described the mansion as a labyrinth of perversion and secrets. There was a basement where no one went. It had doors locked with carved symbols. And a rule: never ever look inside if it's slightly open. One day I heard screams coming from there. But when I asked, Manson just laughed and said, "It's just living art." The house's decor was a macabre spectacle. Doll heads hanging, inverted crucifixes, hidden cameras, mannequins with bloodstains and demonic phrases written on the walls in dark paint, or perhaps something worse. Artists, models, and even other musicians frequented the place. Some claimed it was just a continuous performance, a theater of the grotesque. Others swore they saw real rituals. A former famous guest, whose name was not revealed, said on a podcast, he would say we were breaking the barriers of the soul. But it felt like a cult. They gave us drinks and you didn't know what was in them, and when you woke up, you remembered nothing. Behind the scenes, many knew something was wrong in that house. But no one had the courage to speak out publicly. It was the price of fame and fear. All of this could have been just exaggeration. Until one night at one of those parties, a young woman named Paula Winters entered through the front door and was never seen again. And that's when the story stopped being merely dark and became chillingly real. She walked into that house and never came out. Paula Winters was 22 years old. Newly arrived in Los Angeles, she had the hopeful look of someone chasing the spotlight. Actress, model, and aspiring influencer, Paula was doing everything she could to break into the right circles. And on that night in 2010, she thought she had finally made it. A friend, also new to the industry, got them invitations to an exclusive party at Marilyn Manson's mansion. The promise was simple: music, celebrities, and unique experiences. Paula walked in, alone, at 10:13 p.m. Footage from a neighbor's security camera captured the moment she stepped out of a black car with tinted windows and walked through the mansion's gates. She wore a red dress and a nervous smile. She was never seen alive again. The first 48 hours passed in silence. Friends assumed she had gotten lost in some after-party. But when her mother tried calling, and her phone stayed off for 3 straight days, alarm bells started ringing. A missing persons report was filed. The LAPD interviewed a few party guests. They all gave the same strange answer: we didn't see Paula that night. Even with the video proving otherwise. The mansion's security team claimed the internal cameras weren't working that night, a disturbing coincidence. No search warrant was issued. The investigation went cold within weeks. It's like she was erased from the map. No one wanted to talk. No one wanted to investigate. It felt like someone was being protected. Statement from retired Detective Michael Reyes, who closely followed the case before being removed without explanation. Behind the scenes, rumors began to surface. Other young people from the alternative scene claimed it wasn't the first time someone had disappeared after a party at that house. A model who identified herself as Erica L. revealed, "I saw Paula that night. She went upstairs with 2 security guards and never came back. Later, they told me to shut up if I wanted to keep working. No one was arrested. No formal charges were ever filed." Paula Winters' case was archived as a missing person under undetermined circumstances. But the truth is, no one wanted to go after Marilyn Manson, or the people protecting him. Until an anonymous recording years later would reopen wounds that never truly healed. Some evidence doesn't scream, it whispers. And still, no one wanted to listen. For years, the disappearance of Paula Winters was forgotten. Filed away like so many other unsolved cases in Los Angeles. The media never made a fuss. No interviews on TV. No primetime specials. It was as if Paula had never existed. But in 2016, 6 years after the last time she was seen, a package arrived at a small YouTube channel dedicated to unsolved mysteries. The sender was anonymous. No name, just a generic return address from Las Vegas. Inside the package was a handwritten note. "Share this. And don't stop. The truth is buried in the basement." Along with the note was a black USB drive containing only one audio file. The name of the file? Recording_Manson_basement_2010.mp3. At first, the YouTubers thought it was a prank. But when they put on their headphones and hit play, they realized they were listening to something deeply disturbing. The audio, just over 11 minutes long, begins with light static, like a microphone hidden or recording from inside a wall. Slowly, muffled voices and footsteps emerge. A man speaks harshly, unintelligible. Then a woman's voice, clearly in distress, whispers, "Please, let me go. I didn't do anything." There's a tense silence. Then laughter, distorted, deep, familiar. Many who heard it swear it's the voice of Marilyn Manson. He murmurs something like, "Fear is what purifies, you're going to be reborn, darling." The woman starts to cry. She screams. The sound of metal hitting stone echoes in the background. Something like a heavy door slams shut. Around the 7-minute mark, the audio becomes sharper, like there's electrical interference. A voice, weaker now, whispers, "If someone finds this, help me. My name is Paula Winters." In the final seconds there's a dull thud. Something heavy falling. Then just static. The channel, though small, uploaded the recording in a video titled, "Red Circle Evidence of Paula Winters' Disappearance? Disturbing Audio from Marilyn Manson's Mansion." Within 48 hours, the video was taken down for copyright violation, even though it was only ambient audio. The channel also received a legal notice, claiming misuse of sensitive material. One of the creators received a cease and desist warning instructing them not to link public figures to crimes without evidence. Days later, the channel was demonetized and shut down. The original USB drive was reportedly lost in a suspicious fire at one of the YouTubers' apartments. But the audio had already started circulating in forums, re-uploaded by smaller accounts. Some copies were analyzed by forensic audio experts, who confirmed that there were no cuts or edits. The sound was real. The voice belonged to a woman in distress, and the microphone likely came from a hidden surveillance system. A former Marilyn Manson employee, who worked with audio and stage equipment at the time, gave an anonymous statement to an investigative blog. "I installed mics all over the house. Some, even Manson, didn't know where they were. It was all about security, control, manipulation. He liked to hear himself. He liked to control everything." The employee claims he saved the file after hearing the recording during a routine sweep. He kept it hidden for years out of fear. But when he saw that no one was investigating Paula, he decided to send it. Even with the audio circulating online, no new investigation was opened. The LAPD refused to comment. Manson's legal team, already tied up with multiple abuse allegations from ex-girlfriends, called the audio fabricated and defamatory. Curiously, in 2021, another case involving Marilyn Manson made headlines. Actress Evan Rachel Wood publicly accused him of psychological and physical abuse. Over 15 women came forward with similar stories of control, captivity, and manipulation. All of their accounts eerily echoed the sounds in the lost recording. The voice in that audio, it's identical to real cases of captivity victims. I worked in criminal forensics for 18 years. I have no doubt that woman was being held against her will. Dr. Alex Moonhouse, forensic audio expert. And now, 6 years after the recording surfaced, no one has been able to prove its origin with 100% certainty. But one truth remains: the recording exists. The voice is real. And Paula Winters is still missing. The internet remains divided between skepticism and fear. Some believe it's nothing more than a twisted performance. Others swear the recording is the only surviving proof of a crime silenced by fame, power, and influence. In the end, all that's left is the sound. And the silence of those who know too much and say nothing. The truth wasn't buried. It was cemented. And those who tried to dig it up disappeared. After the release of the audio recording, a glimmer of hope began to emerge. For the first time, there was a possible piece of concrete evidence linking Marilyn Manson's mansion to the disappearance of Paula Winters. Forums exploded. Amateur videos dissected every second of the audio. Theories multiplied like larvae in fertile soil. But soon the same dark pattern returned. The case went cold. The legal system remained silent. No warrants were issued. No new searches were authorized. And then, something even stranger happened. An independent investigator known on Reddit and YouTube as Vox_Selim began digging into forgotten details. With a background in digital security and OSINT, open source intelligence, he looked beyond appearances. He traced 3 other women who had disappeared under similar circumstances between 2006 and 2013, all with faint but real connections to LA's alternative social scene. All had attended private parties at the homes of famous musicians. In one of his videos, Vox_Silum revealed that he had obtained old blueprints of Manson's mansion, predating renovations in 2004. One detail left him deeply disturbed. The basement, referenced in the audio, did not appear in the official documents, but was repeatedly mentioned by former staff as the darkest part of the house. This isn't just about Paula. There are other names, other victims, and there's someone, or something, making sure the truth never comes out. But 2 weeks after posting that video, Vox_Silum's channel vanished. No warning. No explanation. And the most chilling part, his final post on X, formerly Twitter, was a brief, cryptic message. If anything happens to me, look downstairs. He was never seen online again. Followers tried to reach out. No replies. His last known IP address? Redirected to a private server, registered in Encino, California. While the internet whispered Paula Winter's name, the newspapers remained silent. Manson, despite facing dozens of public accusations of psychological abuse and violence, was never formally linked to her disappearance. Lawyers, journalists, and even retired officers admit, off the record, that there's an invisible wall of protection around him. A shield made of contracts, threats, and money. Some call it the silence machine. Others a cult. A former label executive, speaking under anonymity, revealed, "You think he acted alone? Those parties were filled with powerful people. Producers, actors, investors. If the truth ever came out, a lot of people would go down. That's why it never will. That silence feels strategic. Lethal." In 2022, Paula Winter's mother, now nearly 70 years old, gave a brief interview to an underground podcast. It was the first, and only, time she spoke publicly about the case. "I've accepted that I'll never hug my daughter again. But what I won't accept is how the world ignored her. How they let her be erased." Her voice trembled, but there was fire in her eyes. "They buried the truth, but I still hear Paula whisper. Sometimes, in my dreams. Sometimes, in places I can't explain." Today, Paula Winter's case remains officially inconclusive. The mansion where it all happened was quietly sold in 2023, for far below market value. Renovations were made. The basement structure? Destroyed. Nothing remains, except the echo of a recording, the name of a forgotten girl, and the fear that this wasn't an isolated case. Because when fame, power, and perversion join forces, justice rarely wins. And maybe, just maybe, there are other Paulas out there trapped in invisible basements surrounded by silence, rituals, and contracts. Leaked reports suggest that in 2011, there was an internal complaint filed with the LAPD about Manson's mansion. Someone allegedly submitted 3 audio recordings, photos of restraint marks on furniture, and a notebook with names and dates. The materials disappeared. No official records were kept. What? The answer may be locked behind 7 seals. Or buried alongside everything the world doesn't want, or doesn't dare, to remember. Do you believe it was all just coincidence? One random recording. One missing girl. One deleted channel. One vanished investigator. Or are you starting to see a pattern? Think carefully. How many stories have you never heard? Because someone paid for you never to know?